All right, now we're going to look at solving a system of equations by graphing. So we're told to first graph the equation and then type the solution. And I wanted to give you a few reminders from Algebra 1. The easiest form to graph is always the slope-intercept form, because what we know is we've got our output on the y-axis. So the output is whatever point is y, input is whatever point is x, or on the x-axis. We know the slope tells us to rise over run, and the b tells us what point we start on the y-axis. So this is what we've got. Here we've got y is equal to negative 5x minus 1. So I'm always going to start with my y-intercept, which is whatever the sign is prior to the number and that number. So I'm going to start my point at negative 1. Now from negative 1, I'm told that I have a negative slope, meaning my line should be falling from left to right as I read the graph from left to right. So I start at this point and I go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now that's all well and good. I have a rise, but I need a run. So I need to go over 1 to the left. So let me make a little note here. When the slope I'm calling that n, is equal to just, let me write the words, equal to an integer. I think I misspelled integer. First, make the integer into a fraction by placing the integer over 1. So what does that mean? Here on number 1, I had y is equal to negative 5x minus 1. So instead of just having this, what it's really saying is y is equal to, my slope is negative 5 over 1, because I need a rise and I need a run, minus 1. So that's how I knew to go down 5 and go 1 to the right. Then we click the blue line and we say, okay, we're going to start at negative 2, and we're going to go down 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and to the right 1. Okay, so we're looking now for where do these two lines cross? Well, if you look right here, that seems to be where they cross. So our ordered pair would be negative 1, 4. All right, let's look at number 2. Solve a system by graphing. Now, if you remember from last year, we talked extensively about what a line equals. Let me add this to our notes up here. If you have x equals, it is a vertical line that goes through the x-axis. On other term, if you have a y equals, it is a horizontal line that goes through the y-axis. So here we have y is equal to x. That is another form of y equals mx plus b. So on question 2, y is equal to x. You could say y is equal to, we know there's an imaginary 1 in front of the x, so 1 over 1 x, but we have no y-intercept. It's b. Or we could say it's 0. So I'm going to start at the origin, and I'm going to go up 1 and to the right 1. This is the parent function of a linear function. So then I'm going to click my next line, x equals 4. So I come over here. I know that's going to be a vertical line going right through the x-axis at 4. It doesn't matter where you click on this line. And then we're going to look at where they cross. They cross at 4, 4. All right, our next one says solve the system. Let's graph it. Okay, so we've got -3, and it's a negative slope of 1 over 1. So I'm going to rewrite that for you guys. Number 3, y equals -x minus 3 is the same as saying y is equal to -1 over 1 x minus 3. So our slope is -1 over 1. So I'm going to go down from my y-intercept, down 1 to the right 1. And then I have this next line. It says -1, so that's where I'm going to click my green. Start at -1, go down to, and to the right 1. Again, all I did was I looked at the slope, which is the -2, and I made it into a fraction by putting it over 1. And that's how I knew what to do. And so our ordered pair where the lines meet is +2 to -5. So the ordered pair +2, -5. Here's our next one, solve the system. We know what we're supposed to do now. So we've got y is equal to 2x plus 2. X is equal to -4. So again, we're going to make the 2 into a fraction by placing it over 1. And then we just continue. So our rise is going to be 2 over 1. Rise and run, sorry. So we're going to start at 2. And we're going to go up 2 and over to the right 1. Now notice that because this is a positive slope, my line rises from left to right, like an airplane taking off. Then we're going to do x is equal to -4. So I know this is a vertical line because x is equal to that number. So we've got -4. Just put your point any place on that line. And they cross at -4, -6. All right. So here we've got y is equal to x minus 2. So we know our slope is going to be 1 over 1. So we start at -2 and we go up 1 and to the right 1. Our next line starts at -5. We go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the right 1. And so our ordered pair here would be 1, -1. That's where the lines cross, therefore that is the solution. Okay, so solve the system. This time the slope is already in rise over run form. 3 is our rise, 2 is our run. So we're going to start at 5. On the y-axis, we're going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and 2 to the right, 1, 2. And then we have x is equal to -2. So we come over here to -2. We can put our points any place on that line. And where the lines cross would be -2, 2, right here. So the answer to our system is -2, 2, or the solution is -2, 2. All right, so this time now we've got our equations in standard form. And if you remember, standard form is really good when you know or when you are using x-intercepts. So I'm going to explain this in 2 different ways. We've got, let's see, this is question number 7. We've got 2x plus y is equal to 2. And then we've got x plus 2y is equal to -8. Now, what I could do is graph the intercepts. And how I do that is I use the cover-up method. So if I cover up y, what I get is 2x is equal to 2, and then I would solve for x, and that gives me x is equal to 1, which means that my ordered pair would be 1, comma, 0. And then I cover up 2x and I get y is equal to 2, so my ordered pair here would be 0, comma, 2. I could do the same thing for the other line. So I cover up the 2y and I get x is equal to negative 8. And then if I cover up the x, I get 2y is equal to negative 8. I solve for y and I get y is equal to negative 4. So that means that this ordered pair is negative 8, comma, 0. And this ordered pair is 0, comma, negative 4. And you may be wondering, well, why is it 0? If I cover up a number, it's essentially saying that that number is 0. So that's how you could do it one way. The other way is just to get them into slope-intercept form. So if I've got 2x plus y equals 2, and I want y alone because I want this to look like y equals mx plus b, I want this to look like this equation up here, which you can't see. I want it to look like y equals mx plus b is what I'm saying. Well, to do that, I'm going to rewrite it. All I have to do is subtract 2x from both sides of the equation, and I've got y is equal to negative 2x plus 2. And you may feel like this is a whole lot easier to graph. So let's do the other equation. We've got x is plus 2y is equal to negative 8. Well, I want y alone, so I'm going to subtract x from both sides of the equation, and I'm left with 2y is equal to negative x minus 8. Well, then I still need y alone, so I'm going to divide every term by 2, and I've got y is equal to negative 1/2 x minus 4. So if I'm looking at this, if I graph this way, what I would do is I'd say, okay, well, I go over to 1, comma, 0, put my point there, and then my other point goes 0, 2. Okay, so there's my line. Now let's see if it comes out to this line. Well, if I start at 2 and my y-intercept, and I go down 2 and over 1, that's exactly what that line is. So the other line, let's say I get, all right, so this is negative 8, 0, and then 0, so on the y-axis it's 0, negative 4. So I put my point there. Let's see if it's the same. So if I start at negative 4 and I go down 1 and to the right 2, that's exactly the same line. That's why you can do this either way. They are exactly the same line, just written in different forms. So the answer to our question here is, what's the solution? Our solution is 4, negative 6. All right, this particular question gives us the lines, or two lines in two different ways. We have standard form and we have slope-intercept form. Well, we know already this one's going to be easy to graph. So again, if I want to use the cover-up method, I'm going to cover up the y portion, making it effectively 0, and I get x is equal to 6. So my ordered pair would be 6, comma, 0. And then if I want to do the y portion, 3y is equal to 6. I'm going to solve for y. Y is equal to 2. So this ordered pair would be 0, comma, 2. That's if you want to do it that way. If you don't want to do it that way and you just want to get your equation in y-intercept form, Then I'm going to move the x term to the other side of the equation by subtracting it. And then I've got 3y is equal to negative x plus 6. Divide every term by 3. And I've got y is equal to negative 1/3 x plus 2. So my first line, I am going to actually go, I'm going to start at 2. I'm going to use this equation. So I'm going to start at 2, go down 1 and 3 to the right. And my intercepts, like I said, 0, 2 and 6, 0. And then I'm going to start at negative 2 for the second line, go down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And over 2, 1, 2. And my intersection is off. So let me see what I did wrong. Because here it should be like right where I can tell what it is, and this is not right where I can tell what it is. So I've done something incorrect. Let me check my math. So I've got, did I write the equation right? X plus 3y equals 6. So I subtracted x from both sides, divided by positive 3. So that's right. So let me make sure I graphed it right. Let me go back to the green line, take it off here. So I'm going to start at 2, and I'm going to go down 1 over 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that line's right. Maybe this one's wrong. I started at, oops, look at what I'm doing. Let me test this one. And sometimes this happens, guys. And it might be the distortion of my window too, because I have two things next to each other. So I've got negative 2, down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go, that's better. So negative 3, positive 3. That's the solution to my system. Okay, so for this one, 2x minus 3y is equal to 12. X is equal to negative 3. So I'm just going to go ahead and solve this for slope-intercept form, or solve it in slope-intercept form. So 2x minus 3y equals 12. I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides of the equation, and I'm left with 3y is equal to negative 2x plus 12. Divide all terms by 3. Y is equal to negative 2/3 x. 12 divided by 3 is positive 4. So my first line, I'm going to start at 4. And I'm going to go down 2 and to the right 3. The other line is just x equals negative 3, so I know that's a vertical line going through the x-axis. And the solution to my system would be negative 3, positive 6. Now, what did I do? Y'all got to see me make a mistake. You probably already saw it and you were yelling at me the whole time. I did not divide by negative 3. That would have changed everything. That would have made that still positive, but this would have been a positive 2/3 x, and this would have been a negative 4. Let's see. They're going to tell me how to do it. If you look at it, my lines are opposite. This line is opposite. That's what made it wrong. Okay, I got to pay more attention. All right, here we go. Let's try again. Now see, even math teachers sometimes make mistakes, and that's okay. I'm not bothered by it if you're not bothered by it. So we've got number 10. X minus y is equal to 1. I'm going to subtract x from both sides of the equation. So I've got negative y is equal to negative x plus 1. I'm going to divide every term by negative 1 because I don't want negative y, I want positive y. So y is equal to positive x, or you could say positive 1x minus 1. So that's my first line. So I'm going to start at negative 1 and go up 1 and over 1. And then my second equation is the y equals 3x minus 2. So I'm going to start at negative. I did it again, didn't I? Go back and graph this one. I forgot to press the line. Negative 1. And I go up 1 over 1. Don't forget to click the next line like I did. Start at negative 2. Go up 3. 1, 2, 3, and over 2. And our ordered pair where we have our solution is 2, 1. So here is our next equation. We've got y is equal to 1/2 x plus nothing. This is still written in slope-intercept form, guys. It's just that we don't have this y-intercept up here. So we know we're going to start at the origin, which is 0. We're going to go up 1 and 2 to the right. And then on our other line, we're going to start at positive 5, go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and over to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And place our line there so we see that they intersect at 4, 2. All right, so now we've got another equation where we need to change it to make it easier to graph. So I've got 2x minus y equals 4. I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides of the equation. I've got negative y is equal to negative 2x plus 4. I'm going to divide every term by negative 1 because I want positive y here. And negative 2x divided by negative 1 gives me 2x. But remember, we need this to be a rise over a run, so I'm just going to make it 2 over 1. And then positive 4 divided by negative 1 is negative 4. So we're going to start our line at negative 4, and we're going to go up 2, 1, 2, and 1 to the right. And here we have x is equal to negative 1, so I know that this is a vertical line through the x-axis at negative 1. And our intersection is at negative 1, negative 6. So negative 1, negative 6 is the solution to our system. All right, this time they've given us two completely different types of equations that we have to change. So we've got, just put it over here, negative 5y minus 10 equals 10x. Guys, they're trying to get us. They're trying to get us, but we won't be gotten. We need to change this into slope-intercept form. So if you notice, the 10x is over here. So what I really need to do is move or eliminate the 10 from this side and put it on this side. So I'm going to add 10 to both sides of the equation, and I've got negative 5y is equal to 10x plus 10. Then divide all terms by negative 5, and I've got y is equal to negative 2x minus 2. And we know we're going to make that into slope by putting our negative 2 over 1. Then this other equation that they've given us is 0 is equal to negative 3x minus 4y plus 12. Again, we want it to look like slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 4y to both sides of the equation. And I've got 4y is equal to negative 3x plus 12. Well, it's kind of looking like what we need now, but we need y alone. So we're going to divide by 4. And we've got y is equal to negative 3/4 x. And 12 divided by positive 4 is positive 3. So now we've got our two lines. We've got this line and we've got this line. So we're going to graph our first line is starting at negative 2. We're going to go down 2 and to the right 1. Our second line is starting at positive 3. And we're going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And our intersection is at negative 4, positive 6. Okay, got one more that I'm going to do with you guys today. So this one we have 2x is equal to y plus 2. Well, again, we need this in y-intercept form. Now, it may be tempting to move this x over here with this 2 and then move the y. Don't do that. Y is already positive on that side, so let's just move the 2. So we subtract 2 from both sides of the equation. We've got 2x minus 2 equals y. If that's confusing, just turn it around. Y is equal to 2x minus 2. Here we've got 3y is equal to negative 2x plus 18. All we need to do is divide every term by 3 to get y alone. So we've got y is equal to negative 2/3 x. 18 divided by 3 is positive 6. So now we have our both lines and we can graph them. So our first line, we're going to start at negative 2. We're going to go up 2, 1, 2, and 1 to the right. The second line, we're going to start at positive 6 and we're going to go down 2, 1, 2, and 3 to the right. 1, 2, and 3. So the ordered pair that makes this system of equations true, known as the solution, is going to be 3, 4. All right, we've gotten up to 82. You take it to 100. Talk to you later. Bye.